All right, here we go. Jed Wilson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. It's early morning, ready, another day, another dollar. You know how they say? Yeah.
I definitely know what you mean. And Jet actually has like an interesting story that I actually found it out from Instagram after finding a comment like on his post, and we're gonna dig deep into the story like later on too. But just to start off with the first question, so growing up in both Providence and Atlanta, what were the environments like for you growing up in both cities as well as like your childhood? Would you say that it's like a good experience growing up, or would it be quite different?
Um, as far as Providence, I was born in Providence, Rhode Island, but only reason why I was born in Providence, Rhode Island was because both of my parents they went to Johnson Wells University. And I guess when you're in college, you guys gonna mess around and they had me they had me. And I know from what I remember, I really didn't spend too much time in Rhode Island. I As soon as I was born, probably not even a year later, we probably made the move to Atlanta because of back in the 90s. Remember that economic boom that Atlanta hit? The Olympics just came in 96 and all of that. So that's why, yeah, we transitioned to Atlanta. As far as the environment, I mean, Georgia was always home, man. I mean, Atlanta is home. I mean, I never really had a hard upbringing. I think my parents did their best to, you know, alleviate that blow and stuff like that. So because both my parents, they work in the school system now. Um, so they always just was on me and my sister just about education. And then one thing they always embedded in me was your mind is always stronger than your body. So I guess that's what always kept me motivated, just having that Mamba mentality. So yeah, I mean, growing up, I think my parents did their best, so I can't really complain. And with any type of parenting, they can always do better in hindsight, but you appreciate what they could do at the time because when I think about it, now that I'm 28, my parents had me when they was like 28, I mean like 22, 23. So they were still kids themselves. So at now that I can understand and be like, well, you got just kids taking care of me. So the it was good. Can't I don't have any complaints. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I lived in the hood in the projects. I really didn't. I lived in like middle class. So yeah.
Definitely know what you mean. And then when you moved to Atlanta, it stated that you lived in Clayton County, and
Yep.
Clayton County, there's like a lot of like notable people that like lived there that made it out, like Mulatto, who would be
Yep.
like one example, Derez,
Mm.
Deshaun, another
Mm.
example too. So in this question right here, so tell me more about the transition on moving to Atlanta, especially to Clayton County, and what made you decide on wanting to move there with your family?
Um, well, when we moved to Clayton County, cause I know when we first moved to Atlanta, I was a baby. I know my parents they moved to College Park first. They had an apartment. At that time I know my mother was working at a hotel or whatever. But as time progressed, that's when they started, teaching and stuff like that. And we moved to a house in Clayton County. And the funny thing is, um, Clinton County, people call it Jurassic Park. It's a lot of shootings or whatever, but it's like in any area, it's always different parts. Like I lived in like the houses, so it was like I was next to the hood. Like I could literally walk and go through the cut, and then I'm right there in the hood where you would call it Point South. But where I grew up, I was in the houses and stuff like that, which is, a lot of people not gonna say that. Like shout out to Mulatto, shout out to the South Side people, but a lot of us we grew up next to the hood, but we didn't really grow up in, it's a different from, you being in it than you being next to it. And you just, so, cause I think she grew up in like what, Lovejoy. And a lot of people in Clayton County would be like Lovejoy. Like it is Clayton County, but it's not like College Park. College Park, Godby Road, they're really doing them, but like Lovejoy and maybe like there by like Jonesboro. And no disrespect to I'm from there, but it's just me being 100. We gotta kind of give our parents better props because when we always saying like, oh, we grew up here, hood, it kind of down what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, It's a mix. It's just in any area. I think you can have your good parts of you can have the good parts even in the bad parts. Some neighborhoods gonna have better. Like in Terra Boulevard, I would say in Clayton County, Terra Boulevard is real bad. Terra Boulevard, um, Mount Zion in Clayton County, those areas are super bad. Everybody know about Terra Boulevard with Victor Hill and all that and the cops. But over there, that's probably where it's really bad up on the south side. College Park, Godby Road is probably really bad. But when you kind of get to like the Lovejoy, the Jonesboro, Point South area, it's not as bad. But
It's kind of interesting to me too because of the idea of Atlanta. There's like a lot of like regions and a lot of areas like within each part, and like it's
yeah.
based on like Fulton County too. So when you have like the south side of Atlanta, it's Clayton County, it's College Park, it's Decatur on the
Mhm.
east side, and then on the west side you have Mechanicsville and like all these other parts
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So it kind of seems like more like regional as you go by too, and they do tend to become like different regions either way, and that's actually like an interesting part as well.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the crazy part. Like, yeah, we have different zones. Zone 1 through 6. South side is what, zone 3. Um, yeah, but it's funny because Atlanta, man, we actually get along. A lot of out of state people, they don't get along like we do. And I think with us in Atlanta, we're more focused on getting money rather than beef. Even if we do have beef, we could put it aside and go make music and get this bag. I think that's the difference with Atlanta. Because you are right. I mean, but here in Atlanta, like Blood are cool with Crips, Crips are cool with, I mean, like the Blood cool with G, Crips is everything. Like, it's not really like, it's not like California where your neighborhood is beefing and all that. Like like Atlanta's pretty cool. Like, don't get me wrong, you'll have your beef and stuff like that, but sometimes that just be over bad deals or just money stuff. But usually, man, we get along, man. Honestly, I think it's the out of state people that kind of amplify the stuff in Atlanta. Like a lot of the out of town beef be happening because a lot of people from like Florida, Texas, Chicago, a lot of them be bringing that beef from where they come from. So when stuff happen in Atlanta, people like to try to say it was Atlanta, but it's not. A lot of time it be those out of towners that's bringing that beef to Atlanta. So most part, man, we're cool, man. I never really have no problems. Like I can really go anywhere and it's cool. As most of anybody can really go. You still got to be safe and protected, but you just can't be what they say, you can't be parlaying too long. Like if you like my rule is if I go back to when I go back to the south side or whatever, I don't hang out too long. I say my what's ups, say what's up and get on. You don't ever want to with any my advice to any young person, if you're coming from the hood and you going back to visit, don't stay there talking too long. Say your depth, like it's almost like be a unicorn because if they barely see you, when they do see you, they're more starstruck than anything. But if you're like always on low Ray porch smoking a blunt every morning on the somebody gonna set you up. They're gonna be like, this guy he's always on low Ray porch smoking a blunt. Then they're gonna set you up. But if you can limit it and just be cool and you know that's my you just gotta know how to move around.
True, true. And I just want to add on for the viewers who are also watching too. So Jet Wilson is a rapper and entrepreneur out of the city of Atlanta, and
Hmm.
basically he has gained over 100, like over hundreds of thousands of streams on Spotify, like with songs like racking up to almost 100, like over 100K, like on Spotify, and with well-known hits like Scottie Pippen that has reached up to a considerable amount of views on YouTube as well too. And he also has a brand called I think it's called Airjet or
Yeah,
Air.
air jet. Yeah.
All right. So to discuss more on the music side too, so growing up, what was your musical background and history like, and what made you decide on wanting to become like a musician and entrepreneur?
Um, I'll be honest. The reason why I got into music and a lot of artists they don't like to explain their influences. For me personally, well, I would probably go deeper into my disability with this one because any person got like insecurity or self-esteem issues. The thing that made me rap was because I saw Lil Wayne rap and I just saw the energy he gave out. Like the first when I first bought an iPod from somebody, my first iPod had Lil Wayne on it, and it was Dedication 3. Yo, he was snapping the hardest stuff. I just like the energy he gave, the self-esteem, the confidence he gave. And no cap, I tried to sound like Lil Wayne when I first started rapping, but that was the whole point of me rapping because I saw Wayne do it and I saw the self-esteem and the confidence he had. And and I basically adopted that, and that's what got me into rapping. I mean, it was Lil Wayne, and that's just me being 100. Most artists try to lie and say, "Oh, I just did it" and all that. No, most of the time it was, inspired by somebody. So for me, it was Lil Wayne. Hmm.
True. And discussing more on your disability too. You actually mentioned about your disability with your leg in a previous interview, but never spoke like very like in depth
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that. So tell me more about the story with your disability and what was like the experience like for you in a sense.
exactly. With me, man, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. Um, and before I go in detail, I will say this. I appreciate it because even though with my disability in my leg, I still appreciate it because there's people who have no legs at all who can't walk who would die to be in my position. And a lot of people don't even know I'm deaf in my left ear all the way. I don't really complain because there's people who completely deaf who could wish they could just hear out of one ear. So I try not to complain about that because there's people who have worse. But to get into my disability, I wasn't born. It's kind of complicated because I wasn't born like this. I actually had caught a staph infection in the hospital when I was a baby. When I was born, I caught in my growth plates. So when I caught in my growth plates in my hip in my left leg, it stunted the growth of my leg. And honestly, I can remember my legs were normal until I was probably about three, 3 years old. About three. 'Cause I have pictures with my legs being normal lengths and all that, wearing normal shoes. But I think by the time I hit about 3, 4, I think that's when the staph infection really you could tell. And yeah, man. But yeah, that's what happened. I caught staph infection in the hospital and it messed up my growth plates. And got into my ear. So I was deaf in my left ear. My left leg is shorter than the other. And so now I wear a boot on all my Jordans, or on my shoes. But yeah, that's really what happened. It's bittersweet, man. Cause I mean, I wasn't born like that. So I tell people like, I guess I was one out of a million on the negative side to get it. But with my success, I don't complain because I was one out of a million on it too. So, I feel like it's just a way of God humbling me, or, I always tell people I feel like I'm not too religious, but I feel like God never really give anybody something that they can't handle. Sometimes you gotta be the first person to go through it for other people to have a role model and stuff like that. But yeah, man. Yeah, just got staph infection in the hospital, messed up my growth plates, and my leg been on Pinocchio mode. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely know what you mean. And during your childhood, since you've had like that whole like disability, were you ever experienced bullying or like harassment by kids in school in a sense too, or do you feel like that?
See, what's funny about that? If you were to ask my mom, she would tell you everybody else said I was the bully. It's funny, but But I really wasn't the bully. I used to stand up for kids when I was younger. When I used to see bullies messing up with other kids, I used to stand up. With me, I didn't really have bullies, cause like I had people who would try to talk, like who would try to talk and would down me. Like I would have people call me names, like, but that never really got to me. I would have people call me names. But the thing is, with me, I think the difference with me was I would say sit back. Like, like I did get in fights. I did. I wasn't one of those kids that had a disability where they would just take it. Like me, I got in a lot of fights. I got in a lot of roast sessions, but ultimately that's what kind of made me like cool in school. Like honestly, I wasn't, like I wasn't lame at all in school. Like I would actually, matter of fact, I wouldn't say I was the most popular, but I was one of the kids that I could literally go to any group and hang out with. I could go with the jocks and hang out with the jocks. I could go with the cheerleaders, chill with the cheerleaders. I could hang out with the loner kids, the kid that is smoking weed. I was cool enough where I could hang out with everybody, you know, and and I think that's, I tell a lot of parents with their kids, like, because like parents used to ask me like, "Yo, why are you able to like have kind of like a normal life, but my son who had a disability, he's kind of like self secluded." And don't get me wrong, I have a lot of self esteem issues too, but I said I don't let that stop me from making friends. Like I said, man, at the end of, I have so many people that tell me they forget that I have a disability after they meet me for so long and I'm cool. And it just I never let my disability stop me, man. It was just one of them things where it's really just a mindset. If you think you're weak, you're going to be weak. Like me, no matter what, even with my short leg, hell, I think I can still think I play basketball better than you. I still think I'm still gonna think that I don't ever put a limitation on myself. You feel me? Like I think I could do whatever I say I can do. Don't get me wrong. Maybe I might not be able to play soccer. I'm not gonna be, but with some other shit, I'll be like, hey, I can do it too. So it's a mindset thing, man. It just if you think weak, you're gonna be weak, and you always gotta remember your mind is stronger than your body. That's what my parents always told me. Like I never really had a problem with my disability. Like I told you, I've had people try to make fun of me and stuff like that, but like I would be roasting back. So it wasn't really like I wouldn't want them kid that you just get bullied and picked on, and they just beating your ass every fucking day and taking your lunch money. I didn't go through that. Thank God. I just thank God I had a lot of self esteem because I was cool, man. I was joking with kids. I would skip class, smoke weed with kids and all that stuff. I didn't really have. I had girlfriends and stuff like that. I didn't have it. I probably would have more I probably would have more girlfriends than normally, but I had decent amount of girlfriends coming up, so it really wasn't like I was really missing out on too much. But you know, it's a mindset thing. It's really a mindset.
Yeah, no doubt. And even within this disability too, it was never really like a setback for you. Like in a sense too, like it made you like more stronger in a sense too. But
Mm.
in terms of like maturity, did you ever felt like you were more mature as the years gone by, like while like handling with this disability, or do you feel like it fluctuates from time to time in a sense?
Definitely maturity wise. I mean, I went through a lot to get me into like at the age I'm at now, and I look at a lot of my peers. I'm really far advanced. But that's because not only because of my disability, but also because I got caught up in the judicial system when I was younger. I had caught a felony charge when I was 17. And that was like for fucking shoplifting and shit. You feel me? Me and my friend, we shoplifted. We had like this whole shoplifting ring. We were stealing stuff from Walmart, selling on crack. We did that for 3 weeks. Got caught. Cause I wouldn't ever do it again, but I always tell people, I laugh like no crime. I would never ever tell people to do crime. But it's funny because I said the one mistake we did, because I was like 17 at the time, I'm 28 now. We added one of our friends who was scared to do the shoplifting with us. He didn't want to do it. But after he seen us being so successful, all of a sudden he wants to do it. We add one more person to the plan. Boom, we get caught, and I go to jail. And here's the messed up thing about it. And I mean, I do believe in systematic racism, and I hate to take it there too. But when I was when I got caught at Walmart for shoplifting, um, my friends they were like 16, but I had just turned 17. Like it wasn't even a month. I had just turned 17. Um, I got a real rude awakening. Like all the white cops, they were finna let me go. We didn't get away with nothing. We gave them the stuff back. We didn't run or whatever. But then it was a black cop that came. And dude just was so adamant. He was like, "No, I want to take him to jail, whatever." Like whatever. My pops even came like, "Come on, man, you tripping? Look at him. Like you think he's going to do?" Didn't care. But and this is just me to say anything. I'm not putting the blame on that black officer because I should not have been doing that at all. And I thank that officer because if he didn't do that at that time, it would have gotten way worse. So I went to jail for that. Got out 2 3 days later after that. Got on probation for 5 fucking years. Um, and then I violated that probation like 4.5 years later. So I was like 21, 22. Um, and that's not bad. I stayed out of trouble for 4 or 5 years, but I violated probation at 4 or 5 years later. I did like 2 months in jail. I was like 21, 22. I was 22. And then when I got out, bro, I changed my life. Like I just said this shit was stupid. I said, hey man, I'm get my life together, and I started interning and stuff at this company called TS Duplication, and that's where I really got my success at with music, with me working behind the scenes. But but back to your maturity question, I think the combination of me going through those surgeries, because I went through 13 surgeries. So I mean, from an early start, man, I kind of knew life wasn't really fair. Like even it's so much stuff like life wasn't fair, man. And I don't know if you noticed, I got expelled from one of my high schools for fighting because a lot of kids used to always, like I said, it was kid that said shit, so I got in a lot of fights. So I remember I got expelled from school. So early on, I went through a lot of shit. 13 surgeries. You come in life with ain't you come in life with less. And so when you're younger and you're a kid, you don't understand. You're so mad at God because you're like, yo, out of all the million of kids, why me? So you're going through that. Then you got little assholes at school talking shit. So you get in fights with that. Um, and then I go through jail and all that shit, and I learn like, damn, not even my person with my own skin color looking out for me. He the one who sent me down the path. Like when I went to that jail, the white judge told me this. He straight up said, he said, man, he was shocked. He was like upset, like, why are you like, he said, it's messed up that you are a kid, but you have to be tried like an adult. And that shit just, it hit me. Like all that stuff, like when I tell people my story, when I tell them all of that, it seems like I'm 40, 50, but I did all that in a short amount of time. So my maturity level, when I turned 21, 22, I told myself I wasn't gonna bullshit in life no more. Cause when I bullshitted so much in high school, when I graduated, when I saw I didn't have as many opportunities because I fucked around, I didn't have the grades. I knew when I hit my 20s, I had to work hard. And that's why I interned so hard early on, and it paid out now in my 28th and be going to 30. But yeah, that maturity level, that's a combination that did make my maturity level like phenomenal. And then me having my son too. I have my son, I have a wife. And so all of that brings, yeah, like I can't even speak to my friends anymore. When like a lot of my friends, they still stay with their parents or they don't even have kids yet. It's not the same talking. They if they talk to me, they're talking about the girl they're trying to pick up at the club or whatever. And I'm not on that. I'm like, hey, I'd rather have family. I want to talk about buying a new washer or dryer. Like, what do like most of my friends now, they're in their 40s and 50s because that's who I work around, because and a lot of people don't know that I started off as an intern, and I will elaborate more into this. I started off as an intern, and I worked my way up into a co-owner for the tech company, and I'll elaborate more into that. So when you get up to that level, you're gonna be working with people that's older. So yeah, a combination of all that did play a big part of maturity. It's bittersweet. I wouldn't take anything back about it. Like I said, I got a lot of success out of it. I learned a lot, but I would not want anybody to go through what I went through. But yeah, a lot of that did play a maturity level because I learned from an early age, life not all rainbows and sunshines. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And it's kind of like an interesting like story so far too, from just experiencing a lot of stuff at a young age and just growing up and manifesting those like lessons learned and the mistakes made into turning them into positive factors and reinforced strategies to become successful. It does come like a long way once you've experienced a certain situation that you can never get back from years of wanting to have fun, of wanting to get a good experience, but you still remember those years of growing and manifesting and becoming mature in that sense too.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also based on the idea of Atlanta, the music scene there is big since the early 2000s. And to speak more about the music scene in Atlanta, what makes the city such a place of unity and Black excellence, like when it comes to music, the arts, and other parts of the culture? And were there like ever any inspirations from the city that made you want to pursue like more in music?
Yeah, of course. Atlanta is one of the like, cause I always lived out here since I was like damn near a baby. I was probably out here since I was like 1 or 2. So growing into Atlanta, music is everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, just the drip, the fashion, the unity. Atlanta is different. Atlanta is different because I've been out to so many different places, and it's not like Atlanta. Like you are right. I mean, Atlanta is Atlanta. It's like Wakanda. Like everybody gets along, everybody try to work, they try to get a bag. I think the difference is, and I don't really want to try to typecast it, but I just feel like we probably have more black entrepreneurs in Atlanta. I think Atlanta is probably better at giving um I guess black business owners more, I could say. I mean, I'm not too sure how it is in other states or wherever, but I think in Atlanta, us as black business owners and black entrepreneurs, we're blessed with a little bit more. Like we have more people that it's our skin color on the other side that can help us get loans, and we're getting credit. And then also too, man, we're getting educated. I think Atlanta's a lot, so like Atlanta, a lot of people out here, a lot of black people. I mean, they 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 working on a credit score. A lot of them got money saved. A lot of us is not like the average millennial and stuff. Now a lot of it actually got some type of common sense. Cause I guess when we looked at what the 80 babies and everything did, like we actually have sense. Like a lot of my generation, we are building our credit. We are having 10, 20, 30, 40,000 in our savings account. Cause if you look at statistics, people our age don't have that much saved or have those credit scores, but our generation do. And I think our generation, we're just more hip. We're like I think, and that's just the difference. I think it's a generational thing on why we know how to just go get a bag. We know like us at 90 babies, like and this is me kind of excluding like the millennials that's like born in 2000s because I feel like they beef over little stuff. But us as 90 babies, we can kind of get over beef to go get a bag. I think we all have the understanding. Like it's just Cause yeah, I just think it's just an understanding, man. Like that's why it's inspiration. It's like Wakanda. Like in Atlanta, bro, everybody gonna work. Whether or not you like somebody, like you might just be blowing it down with somebody, and y'all might just be like, "Yo, we're gonna do a record together. We're gonna do a record." Y'all might be bullshitting, but by the end of the night, one of y'all might just send the record over, and you might do it. It's so many people that hit me up and say, "Hey, can you do this feature? Do the feature?" And I do mad free features. I don't even like charging for features. If I think you're dope, I'm gonna just hop on it and send it back. Hell, you might send me a record and I might not even reply to you, but I'll go ahead and record my verse over it and send it back to you for surprise. And you be like, oh shit. And that's how a lot of us in Atlanta are. We just look out for each other. I think this is what it is. In Atlanta, we have something called a face card. Everybody know what a face card is. Like this, I think that's what it is, your face card. So you try to look out for each other because you're gonna the face card is important. In Atlanta, face card is important. If you have a bad face card, you can't move through certain hoods. You can't move through certain zones. So with the face, that's why a lot of us we do help each other because when you like for me, for instance, I give out free features and I do little shout outs for other artists. Reason why is because at the end of the day, I'm doing that because I'm showing love. But at the same time, I might need him. I might be at a club one day and somebody might try to press me, but because I helped and gave them a shout out, a feature, and I fucked with them, they might be able to make that call and be like, "Nah, leave Jet alone." And it's all about face cards. So I think that's what it is in Atlanta. We just know how to help each other because it's kind of like, hey, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, and and if we got beef, I know how to stay over here. You know how to stay over here. But if we have to come together in the room and make this bag, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it's pretty interesting in a sense too because I also interviewed another Atlanta artist back then named Jay Newton, and we
Mm,
discussed about the idea of Black unity in Atlanta, and he mentioned that people do tend to get along mainly because of the businesses and just with relatability, with family members being attached to the schools as well
yeah.
too. So it's all kind of like interconnected in that sense as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's just that respect. Like I said, whether you're a business owner, you're a rapper, trapper, scammer, we have one common thing. If you have money, we're all gonna be in the same places. Like I went to the Hawks Lakers game like 2 years ago, year and a half ago before COVID hit. It didn't matter how you were getting your money. We're all in the same room. So when you're all in the same room for so much, and you're in these I guess quote unquote white establishment, these upper echelon establishments, you gotta kind of have to play a certain part because us as black people, we know the stigmatism on the outside. They look at us and they're like, oh man, they're heathens, they're this. So when we come out there, we're trying to represent us. We're trying to come out there and hold a certain integrity. And it's just not for us, it's just so I guess unquote unquote I guess the oppressor, the white man, like, hey, we can be civilized too. We belong here too. We have money, but not just that we have money. We belong here. We know how to be civilized. So that's why a lot of us try not to beef, and that's why a lot of us rappers and a lot of black entrepreneurs, we got mad when that shooting happened at Lenox or Phipps, because it makes us look bad. Because once upon a time, when you came to Atlanta, when you go to Lenox, you you acted a certain way. You acted civilized because you wanted the white people out there to respect you and not look at you like any other way. So when people are coming out there acting a fool, us people who really get money, we get upset because we're like, yo, you putting a bad stigmatism on you. This is supposed to be a place where you get money, where you can have your family at, you know? So we all, I guess we all have that same thinking, you know? Now, if you want to do all that shooting, all that, take that to the hood. But when you coming out here to like the Lennox, to the Phipps and all of that, you got to act a certain way because, you know, we have money that, you know?
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean too. In 2018, you dropped a project called "The Jetpack Kid," which
Mhm,
garnered over 100,000 streams for a majority of the songs on the
mhm.
project, and I think it was like your only project that was there so far. So, tell me more about the creative process about the project, the inspiration beyond it, and the impact it was like for you, like gaining those streams.
Okay, well, I actually got way more songs and singles from album, but I actually took them down because I put it on my SoundCloud, because it wasn't like official releases. Like, you know, back in the day, before I get into the Jetpacket album, a lot of, you know, when you're an artist, you just try to release so much stuff and just try to put on platforms. But me, I was like, let me try to let me put the stuff that I feel like wasn't up to par, that's not like mainstream worthy, on my SoundCloud. So I got, or if you wanted to check out all my other music, I got that on SoundCloud. But for Jetpack, I wanted to highlight that because I felt like, because I had so much music, it got to the problem. It got to the point where I felt like people would go on my page and they missed the Jetpack Kid, and the Jetpack Kid kind of shows the story of my boot. And also, the Jetpack Kid is the first album where I incorporated my leg and I got out of my security and I started really showing my leg. So that's why I kept that up as my main project and kept that one only up on major platforms, because I wanted when people search me, they see that. And if you become a fan hard enough, you're gonna find my other music. So that was my ideology, which it actually has been working. Like my SoundCloud boosts it up and it works. But the whole Jetpack inspiration was I actually took the whole, when I wrote the script. I don't know if you ever listen to the skits. I have like 5 skits, 5 songs. It's like a skit, song, skit, song, skit, song. So you literally have to kind of listen to the whole album in order to kind of get the whole story. But I literally took my real life story and mixed it into the Jetpack Kid. Yeah, man. I just wanted to make a project that was just outside the realm of music, you know, like music, anybody can make dope music, but I wanted something like, I feel like artists don't do skits enough. You feel me? Um, and not even just with skits. Like I wanted my skit to sound like I was really in space and stuff. Like I wanted to take a disability and make it cool. Like um, it's crazy because I always had like, I don't know if you know, I always had this logo of the flying man, which is
Yeah.
like, and really it just me standing. But I noticed when I tilted it, it made me look like I was flying. So a long time ago, I made that into my logo, me flying. And then one day I was just like, yo, it would be cool if I just had like a whole Jetpack Kid series, because it's like my dream to be like the first black disabled Marvel superhero type stuff. But that's why I made that album. I really was just inspired by the comic books and the Marvel. Like I really didn't care about the songs. Like to me, in my opinion, I feel like the skits are better than the songs on the album. Like I focus more on the skits. Like I wrote the scripts, the sound effects. You hear the thrusters, you hear the space, you hear my boot going, hear the doors closing, the footsteps, you know. And I just did that because I wanted to take my disability and show kids I can make it into like something cool. Like when I go pick up my son from school, like with all the kids, they know about my jetpack boot and they know about my little cartoon and stuff like that. So like when I go pick up my son, all the kids come over and be like, yo, I want a jetpack boot like you. Can I get a red boot? I want a red boot. And it makes me happy because it's like, yo, these kids are looking at something that's supposed to be deemed a disability, but they're looking at it like it's cool as hell. You feel me? So that's the only reason why I did it, because I want kids that got a disability to look at it and be like, yo, that's cool. You like, don't look at it like it's different. Like now, like I love my leg, bro, because it makes me stick out. Like I think if I was given the opportunity to get my leg fixed now, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't be who I am anymore. Like I would hate it. Like I wouldn't be myself. So that's what inspired the album. It was just I wanted to just make something that would deem the disability to be so fucking cool. Like, and I really did that too because hopefully one day Marvel here and they give me a Jetpack Kid movie. Cause yo, I want to be fighting bad guys flying my jetpack boot and stuff. Like that should be cool, you know?
No doubt, no doubt. And also in a previous year as well, interesting story by the way about with the kids and with the boot as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think prior to 2017, you blew up with Scottie Pippen, which also gained
Mm-hmm.
actually over 100K streams on YouTube. I was just finding out now. So tell me more about that song as well and the impact it was like for you, because I think that's
Yeah.
how most people got to know you as Jet Wilson.
Yeah. That actually got put on Say Cheese TV too. When Say Cheese TV before Pay got disabled, when he had like the paid with like the million, I got posted on Say Cheese TV with the Scottie Pippen. And the funny thing is, I hate the song Scottie Pippen now because it says my old stuff, but everybody I have certain songs that from me, I think Scottie Pippen's one of them. And then I don't, and you really have to know me when I was like 17 in Atlanta. I had a song called Popular. It was like #1 on on Hot 107 on for like 2, 3, like yeah, for 2, 3 weeks. So it's one of those songs like Scottie Pippen, Popular. I hate those songs. I hate them, but for some reason people fucking love them. They love it. They love it. But the whole thing about Scottie Pippen, I made that song after a good 2 year hiatus, like a good break from music. I took about that's when I actually met my girlfriend at the time. You know, when you meet your girlfriend and all that, you kind of slow down on music and you just figuring out life. I think I just got done making my Final Things in Life mixtape. And then I had went and started doing this college course at Clayton State University for entertainment business. And so I really wouldn't even focus on music. I would focus on learning the entertainment business side of it. And I didn't drop any music for like 2 years. And then all of a sudden, when like I told you earlier, when I had got my intern at TS Duke, me working there and seeing other rappers, and TS Duke was like a CD duplication place where we used to press up rapper CDs. So rappers would always come in. Like I started off as a graphic designer doing mixtape covers there. That's how I got my internship there. But when so many rappers came in, I got inspired to do Scottie Pippen. And mind, I didn't do music for 2 years. And so I just went on YouTube. I think it was a fucking YouTube beat. It had to be a YouTube beat. I probably bought it for like $30, and I just recorded it on this little ass MXL USB microphone, and it was fucking hard. I was like, oh shit, it's hard, and so I was like, I gotta shoot a video to this. I didn't have no, I had like a Canon camera, but I didn't like shooting with the Canon, so I had my iPhone. I shot the whole video with my iPhone, you know. I shot that with the iPhone, and then I sent it to some guy on Fiverr. I paid him like $100 to edit it, and we put it out. And people end up fucking with it. And then I got it posted on Say Cheese TV with Sean Cotton. And I think the thing that the thing that helped me was because I have like a viral factor. A lot of people ask me like, well, how did you get your following up so quick? How did you do this? And I told people my leg. Like I hate to say it like that. I said my leg. I guess it just sticks out. But I tell people before I started showing my leg on social media, because like 2, 3, 4 years ago, I wasn't showing my leg on music videos. I wasn't showing my leg in pictures. I was insecure. And so I only had like maybe like 20,000, 30,000 followers. But then when I got over my insecurity and started showing my leg in the videos and in the pictures, that's when it kind of just took off. And I tell people like I had my Instagram for 10 years, but it just started blowing up because I started showing my leg. I started being who I was. And yeah, that's it. It's like it's almost like my leg was a cheat code. Cause I tell people it's like I can't like people like, yo, how did you do it? I'm like, I just saw the music video and I did this, but I said it might not work the same because I gotta remind people I have a leg. I have a little leg. Like if you see anybody with a little ass leg with a boot on a Jordan, you're gonna watch that, you know? It's like I can't, you feel me? So it's just that's the only way I can explain it, you know. It's just like, hey, I got and that's why I say it's bittersweet. It's really bittersweet. I could look at it and be like, damn, I got the little leg, and I'm a limp forever. But then at the hindsight, it's like I got this little leg and I stick out no matter what because like I might go to a place and people recognize me because of my leg. They might not even know a song about me, but they might just see my picture. They might have just grew up and just saw me around. Like, and it kind of scares me because somebody come up and be like, yo, Jet, and I don't remember them. but they remember me because of my leg. Like, so it's the leg, I guess. It helps. It helps.
Me too. Um, when I was like reading your Spotify in a way too, there was like an interesting bio, and I think you also discussed about your internship too, but you also mentioned that you worked as a music executive and have worked for companies like
Mm-hmm.
MTV, VH1,
Mm-hmm.
Viacom, and BMI for the digital promotion and publishing side.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me more about those experiences, and what would be some good advice that you would give for people who would want to work in the music industry?
I got you. I got you. Uh, I would say with me, I would more so on the Viacom side. A lot of people don't know this. Early on, MTV. Matter of fact, let me say Viacom. Yeah, Viacom. Because Viacom actually holds MTV, VH1. I think Comedy Central. They own like what 50, 60% of the channel, 70% of the channel, if I'm not mistaken. But Viacom back in the day, they had like this little platform for artists where you can have an MTV page. You upload it, MTV videos, all of that shit, and your BMI and all that. And the back end, you can go to these BMI what's it called, conventions and all of that shit and work and stuff like that. But on the Viacom side though, it was just a program really that if you were the artist, you were early on it, you could take advantage of it. Like you could actually get your video uploaded directly to like MTV where you could see it in the mornings and stuff if it was not dirty. You get what I'm saying? Like it was like TV ready or something. It can't have like all
Mhm.
stuff like that. But it was like about 4, 5, 6 years ago, they had like a little program where matter of fact, everybody had a program. Island Def Jam, Universal, Viacom. They had platforms where artists could literally upload straight through the network. They could upload, it was that was a good time back then. I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of artists didn't know. And you could use all the platforms like with the MTV stuff, if you wanted your music uploaded, like I used to have a guy called something Danny Patrovich. His name was Danny Patrovich. He worked at Viacom. I used to always have to fax over these contracts back and forth. Like when I had to upload my music onto MTV or any music video, they had to send me a contract. I had to e-sign it every time or stuff like that. It was such a simple time back then. Now they don't really have these programs no more where artists can't really get into it because the internet's so big. I guess they took away a lot of the program. Like once upon a time, you could distribute straight through Universal, straight through Island Def Jam, straight through MTV. You could upload and get your video straight onto the MTV in the morning where you wake up, you see the music videos playing. So that's how I was able to get into Viacom and all of that. But as far as getting into the music industry, I would say internships, man. Internships helped me a lot. I interned at so many places. My first internship I would say was with AP, not APN. Was it AP? No, that's with Atlanta Photos Network. I forget what it's called, but I want to say it's CJS Music Group or whatever. I just know they managed Christina Aguilera uh back in the day, and I interned for them, and I hated that internship. But I started off as an intern there. I was really just a photographer and graphic designer. And back then they had an artist named Tiffany Fox. I don't know if you remember, but
Yeah,
yeah,
she was, I think, affiliated with Little Kim because I think Little Kim had like a label
yeah,
called Queen Bee Mafia, and I think she was like the second lady of that label. So
yeah, yeah. She was managed by I think it was I want to say CJS or CCS. I forget what it was called, but I didn't intern there for too long. But I remember at that time Tiffany Fox was the main thing that they would put pushing. So I had to go to the club, take pictures and stuff like that. And eventually I just stopped because it just I got tired of just going to the club, taking pictures, and then you realize like, okay, yeah, they got me as an intern, but it's starting to feel like they're just using you more for just that one asset and that's it. So I stopped doing that one. And I ended up working at interning at APN, Atlanta Photos Network, again at a photographer graphic designer. Um and this is for my wife's uncle, because he owns this whole Atlanta photographers modeling network. So I interned there for a while. I got paid great because I did the photos, I did graphic designing, I was doing modeling, touch up. So and I used to do a little modeling, so I was in that world too. Um, it was cool. It was like to hang out with models and take pictures and all that, but it gets boring. I did that, I got paid well. I only did that to get paid, and then after a while, that's when I got locked up. Like I said, when I violated probation at 21, 22, I think that was about 21, 22 mark when I did that. And then I went to jail for like 2 months. Then after that 2 months, I found this company called TS Duplications, and that's where they were doing the CDs. And I used to call them all the time before I went to jail. They never picked up, never whatever. But for some reason, this one day, like literally the day after I got out of jail, I called them and I asked them if I can intern. They for the first time ever, this girl picked up and she talked to the manager, who who would eventually become my business partner. Told me, yeah, hey, yeah, come through here, bring your resume, show me your work. And I came down there the next day. The TS Duplication. You could actually look it up on Google. I actually got the address, the start, everything. Um, yeah. So I went in there as a graphic designer. I got the intern. He liked my graphics and all of that. So I got the internship. And this is prime CD. This is when people going crazy with the CD. This is when Rich Homie Quan got 80,000 CDs in the streets, Future, all of them. So I'm working there as an intern. Um, and the way I worked my way upward, I remember it was this guy named Ro. It was a guy named Ro, Rick. They were like the CD burners. But then one day, Ro, one of the employees there, he just stopped coming to work. And mind you, I went to Clayton State University for entertainment business, music production, video production. So they taught us how to use burners. So when he left, I remember I told Mike, the owner, I was like, hey, I know how to work the burners too. So then I went from just being an intern graphic designer to like a full-time employee. But now I'm doing graphics and I'm burning CDs and stuff like that. So then eventually, what's crazy is eventually my girl started working there, and I kind of got jealous because she got the manager position before me, because the girl that actually recommended my girl to the business owner because she was leaving and he needed a new assistant manager. So my girl got it. I was low key jealous, she got it. But and then I think a year later passed, she got pregnant, you know, that was my sabotage. She got pregnant, got out the picture, and then I became the manager. And then and we just rode. When I got the manager position, I was just holding the fort down, doing the CDs, burning, graphic designing, work on the phone, doing the accounts, doing the numbers. Um, I did that for like a good year and a half, and then all of a sudden, CDs had died out. CDs died out. And my manager at the time, his name is Mike. He he gave me an opportunity. He was like, at first, I was trying to find, like, when the business failed, when the CD stopped, I would low key going to other places trying to get jobs at. But then he pulled me to the side and was like, hey, if you help me rebuild this company, I'll give you half of it. And I took the opportunity. Like, a lot of people wouldn't take a lot of opportunity. People tell me that was stupid. They were like, go find another job. Because the business died. Nobody was doing CD. Like, literally the last week we would open, nobody came in and bought CDs. Nobody. It was literally dead. So I went ahead and built this website for the business. Um, I put all of our services on it on the website and all of that shit. Um, and I started, and mind you, while I'm doing this, my business partner, he had to go on and do some FEMA stuff. So I'm rebuilding this company kind of by myself while he's, you know, he's still doing the accounting and all that stuff because he can, but he's all the way in a whole nother state. So I'm doing this, building a website, building the Instagram up, and it's called TS Digital. You could look at it. We were building that up. I was building that up, post on Instagram daily, everything. And then it just started slowly like blowing up, like, because we had our original clientele from Tia Duplicated from the storefront, so that carried on to the online. But I guess with me just being so consistent with it on the Instagram and on the website and always promoting, it just fucking blew up and blew up and blew up and blew up. And and the rest is history, man. And it just, like, I was blessed. Like, I stuck. And what's crazy was when I took over that business and I got half of it. When in the early stages of it, bro, I literally took all the CD burners, right, and I moved it in my fucking pantry closet. This is when I had the apartment like 2 years ago, in the pantry closet. And I used to literally work in this small ass closet burning CDs. And this is the same closet I used to record my music in. So I'm crowded. I got CDs. So when orders come in, I be doing CDs and shit like that. People used to come to my house and make jokes and be like, "How we gonna come out the closet?" cause I used to be in the closet burning CDs and stuff, cause I had to take the business from the storefront to the home, cause we closed down, and I just started doing it and built it from that. Started putting it online, and it just blew up, bro. And now we're it's like we're a successful e-commerce business. So now I work more so behind the scenes of the music. I help artists get their streams. I help artists get their playlisting. I help artists get their PR. I help connect artists with different record labels and all of that. And all it really took was just me being loyal and me staying down with a company and working. And I got blessed, like,
Yeah.
and that's how I got my success, just interning and staying down with this company. Like a lot of like the crucial part for me was when the company failed, I could have easily went to somebody else and I would have been getting minimum wage at somewhere else. But because I took the opportunity of being like, you know what, I'm gonna stay with you and help build this company. Cause I mean, and I was just blessed with the opportunity because he said, hey, I'll give you half of the company when the company failed. Most people not gonna take that. Who's gonna take half of a company that just failed? Nobody. You finna go try to get another job, But I took that opportunity. I looked at that opportunity, and I built it up. And now it's a success. I mean, I like I said, I enjoy helping artists more so than trying to do my music, and that's why I haven't personally dropped music in like 2 years because I'm so much more busy helping other artists get their streams, get their playlist in, get their PR and stuff like that. But that's my advice to other people, man. My professor told me this in college. What you do for yourself as an artist, you can do that for a million other artists and get paid for it. And it's one of the things where you got to put ego and pride to yourself. Like, okay, it's nothing wrong if you want to be them artists that you only know your music and you're playing your music in the car all day by yourself and nobody else knows you. Go ahead. That's if that's what you want to do. But if you want to be heard or seen by everybody else, man, you might want to try to go. You like the one thing about the music industry, they're just not gonna let you in the door. You kind of got to scratch people's back to kind of let them in. So for me, I was working free. I was doing all these free internships, working, doing all these free internships, doing all these free internships, getting paid shit. I was eating dirt for so long. But I used to always tell myself, hey, you just got to eat dirt for so long until you get to the diamonds. And I stuck with that and it finally paid off. So I tell a lot of artists, like, man, just go intern, work for free. And then eventually, if your work outweighs and just because they see the work, they see the hard work. You will, and don't get me wrong, you will have companies that are gonna take advantage of your hard work. They're gonna you gonna feel like a piece of shit. But one day you're gonna, if you keep doing that and keep being yourself, you're gonna find the right company that's gonna take heed to you working that hard and actually give you an opportunity. And that's what I would just blessed. I just interned and worked around music. I just realized, hey, I can there's more money behind the scenes of me trying to help other artists. Like I know everything, like how to upload my own music. I know all about the publishing, performance royalties. I know all about the mechanical royalties, all of that stuff. And it's fine that I know that, but that's not gonna pay me nothing. That I can do graphic design from. I can design my mixtape covered all day. I can do record my music all day. I can do all that, but that's not gonna pay me nothing. You feel me? Like what I'm putting in, like a million streams only bring like $4,000. So if you're factoring all the money you put in, that's not really a good payout. But if I can do everything that I did for myself and do that same stuff for myself for other artists, oh man, it's so much bigger, so much better. And then I feel like I love seeing other artists blow up, and or I love seeing it. Like I remember when we were doing CDs, Rich Homie Quan, he did 80,000 CDs, and to see who he is now from that is dope. And like Saw Baby, um, not Sada Baby, Sada Baby, the guy with the octopus. I forget
Yeah,
his
yeah,
name.
I know some maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He did the Sandash song, whatever. Before he had got like 100,000 CDs or whatever, like a whole bunch of CDs before that song blew up. So to see him, like, so I seen so many artists like use our services, use our products, like before they blow up, and then you see him, and that makes me happy to be like, damn, like I was a part of that growth, and that makes me happier than to say, oh man, I'm this big person. Like I don't care. I'd rather be behind the scenes. I hate being out in the public. But yeah, man, that was my success, man. Just interning and working hard and working for free and getting in the industry behind the scenes. And now I'm just in a level where I could kind of sit in the music executive role and try to help build a platform to get artists on. Like we do like this live music review every week. Like on Friday, we had like 10.3K live viewers on a live review show last week. on the TS digital platform. So it's just dope to just, see the growth from that, man. But that's my advice to other artists, man. Just instead of always being selfish and trying to gain something, try giving something and just see what you get back in the long run. And I've was interning and working from I was like 22. I'm 28 now. So this is 6 years. It took 6 years of me working just to finally get to a point where I could be a co-owner. But I worked my way up from an intern. Like, yeah, I tell people I worked my way up from an intern to a co-owner. That didn't really happen, but I would I was lucky, I was blessed, and I was there to take the opportunity. Cause like I told you, a lot of people wouldn't take half of a company that failed. I did. So it just you gotta look at it. A lot of people looked at that and be like, oh hell no, I'm about to go get another job. But me, I looked at that and was like, damn, he said he's gonna give me half of the company. So if I bring in 500, that's 250. If I bring in 1,000, that's 500. That's better than, cause once upon a time I was only getting paid like minimum wage, which is only like 200 a week back, like back when I was just an employee or interning in. But when I started doing that math, I was like, oh shit, as a company owner, if I work harder, but people wouldn't look at that. People would try to go get another job. So I always tell people, man, sometimes, and you got to see what the opportunity is at in any situation. And that's what worked out for me. It may not work out for other artists like that. It might be a different path. But for me, it just interning and working for music companies is what got me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, and that's like a very like interesting story from rags to riches in a sense too, from starting at the bottom to making it at the top too. Like kind of like the whole Drake started from the bottom idea, from working as an intern, from burning CDs to now like having like half a stake in the company, owning at least half of a company too, which is very interesting too, and especially from a failed one and from rebranding it and building it into a better one too. Like that's like a
Hmm.
very very interesting story too, and especially with the whole like Tiffany Fox thing and the whole models type stuff. Were you close around like Tiffany Fox in a way too? And is she kind of like the similar person that she is like in her music in a sense?
She was I didn't really talk to her like that because back then I was solid. Like, 'cause she was, let me be real, she was bad. Like back then, like she was bad. Like so, she was one of the girls like you really could. Cause I was just a cameraman, so it's hard. Like she was a cool person. She was down to earth because I think sometimes she would notice and see that I was like a little uncomfortable, and she would probably give me a little smile or give me a little pep talk to let me know it's all right and whatever.
Yeah.
So she is very down to earth. I could say that, but I think with the whole I think the management company, I think she was more fed up with the management company. Cause like I said, it seemed like they always did so much. They just always did the most. And I think that's what it was. I think you could kind of tell when somebody just be like, man, he's just doing too much. Like, and I think that's what it was. I mean, cause I'm pretty sure she's doing really well in the music now, but I'm pretty sure she got a way different management, than then. But I think she's down to earth. She's cool, humble from what I seen. I don't know her. Cause that was like probably had to be about 5, 6 years ago. So then I don't know how she is now. She could have got turned up. You never know. But
No,
from when I met, was very humble. But it does seem like I don't think she liked the management she was at the time. Cause I think they was on some, whatever.
I know what you mean. And the modeling company that you worked for, who, if you were to say like who was like the most well-known model or like personality that was ever in that company, who would that be, like in a sense?
Um, there was so many models, man. I'm not gonna lie. When I was shooting, it'd be like 10, 20, 10, 20, 30 models at a time. So it really you didn't it was I would say this. It was one person that stuck out. Me and my fiance when at the time, now that's my wife, but my fiance when she was doing the modeling thing too, because she would have modeled, but a lot of people didn't know I was a fiance, I was just be taking pictures. Me and her were talking to this girl. And this is what I learned. I was like, hey, God, y'all need to start checking IDs. Cause me and my girl, right? After we done taking pictures, we talking to some of the models. We was talking to this one girl, right? This girl looked like she was like 28, 30, whatever, right? And so then my girl asked her, she said, how old are you? You know what she said? 13. We're like she looked older than us. And like I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
like, no way. Like her auntie is over there like, yeah, she's 13. I'm like, you're lying. She's not 13. Cause I said, guess how old we are? And like I said, at that time, we were like, my girl like 21, I'm 22. I'm like, we're 21, 22. She's taller than us. She looked like a grown ass woman, straight up model. And that's when I was like, oh shit. I was like, yo, you guys better start ID checking. I don't care what it is, you know. I mean, I don't have to worry about it because I'm my fiance. But when I learned that, yeah, the modeling game, that shit is crazy, man. Like, man, that's what showed me, like, yo, these motherfuckers are like, they getting younger and younger and younger, but it's scary because they look like fucking adults. And then I grew up when I was a kid, we ain't wear makeup, we ain't do all that stuff. We ain't, the girl growing up, they look like kids, but now that's probably the crazy thing with the modeling when that's probably one story that stuck out when me and my fiance were talking to that one girl and she told us. Like, I was like, shit. I was like, man. That's what I told all my homies. After that day, I said, y'all niggas better start ID checking. I said, you better not go to the club and take no girl home unless he show you ID. Cause goddamn, this is, yeah.
So tell me more about your Air Jordan boot collection and your sneaker collection in a way too.
Let me see. Can I turn this? Am I able to turn this camera around? Yeah, I can. Let me show you. Yeah, I got this is the whole, this is like most of them. Yeah.
Shoot, that's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That's actually like pretty
Yeah.
amazing too, you know?
Yeah. All the, got Yeah, growing up, I didn't really had the opportunity to have a lot of Jordans because it was crazy to put a boot on those Jordans. It cost about like 165 each. So back, it was the reason why I get Jordans, man, now because I couldn't have them when I was a kid, man. So I just buy the Jordans that I couldn't get when I was a kid, and I just get the ones that I like. I don't really go too crazy, but sometimes it makes me cry looking at it because growing up, the fact that you have to add a whole extra boot on a shoe, it makes the cost go up high. So I know that used to hurt my parents not being able, like I used to literally wear one or two shoes a year and I have to wear the same shoe a year. Sometimes they be talking, could they be fucking up? And so, man, this now that I'm able to get all the shoes that I want, it makes me cry because my inner child is at peace with that.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Too. I know that I had like this one like final question, but I think you already explained it like earlier on, like about like the advice. And I know that you said like with music right now too, you're kind of more focused on handling like working with other clients, like on helping with their playlists and the streams and such. So
Mhm.
I don't know if music's still gonna be there for you, like in a sense, if you have any plans for making new music this year by any chance.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, man. I have a I actually have an album I'm working on. I've been kind of top secret on it. It's called Air Jet. The cover's hard. If I could find a cover, man, I could show. Matter of fact, let me see. It's on my YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. Um, but it's just an Air Jet. I am working on an album. I am working on it, but it's more. It's I'm gonna give you this exclusive though. I'm not gonna focus it like it's a music video,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna focus it more as a like a trailer. When I release it, I'm gonna shoot a whole trailer to it. I'm gonna put a big budget in it. I want it to be like an action packed trailer where you see my boot transforming and flies and stuff. So I'm working on that. I'm trying to make it more of a like a movie type feel. The trailer, the music part gonna be the last piece of it. But yeah, that's yeah,
true, true.
you know.